We know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my Southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my Southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road, bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my darling county home. Norfolk.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Brunton, seconded by Councillor Oliver, that council adjourn this closed session meeting at 4:06 p.m. to reconvene in open session. Those in favor of that motion, we are now back in open session. Nothing to report out of the session other than on the land issue, staff was given direction by council to proceed in a certain fashion. There are no deputations this evening. I would like to go to item 7 on our agenda, the adoption correction of council meeting minutes. On page 9, we have our regular council meeting minutes from 2 weeks ago, February the 13th. The closed session minutes meeting we had minutes were distributed under separate cover. Anything in those minutes of our last council meeting, starting on page 9, you wish to bring to our attention? Okay. If not, I'll just we'll adopt them as printed. Thank you very much. Okay, a number of communication items on, starting on page 21. I'm going to go through them one at a time. So we will start on page 21 with the request from the Corvettes of Ontario. It has been moved by Councillor Brunton, seconded by Councillor Oliver, that council approve a grant in the exact amount of the rental cost of the Linwood Park for the Corvettes of Ontario annual car show to be funded from the mayor and councillor grants to others account. Any discussion on the first communication? The resolution I just read. I hear none. Those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Page 23. This is communication from Matt Suckle, who is a member of the Lions of Waterford, a rent reduction. It has been moved by Councillor Oliver, seconded by Councillor Brunton, that the request of Matt Suckle respecting the Waterford Lions be received as information. Any discussion on this resolution? Councillor Wells.
And I take it if we receive this as information, they are not getting any grant. Am I correct on that?
That would be correct.
Mr. Mayor, do we make other grants to any other organizations similar to this, offering services?
I can't answer that. I know that in respect to our arenas, that Mr. Cridlin's not present at the moment, so I don't know. Mr. Clerk, are you able to comment on that or not?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think, just to assist council, I think this is the first time that we've seen a request of this nature from this organization. You'll recall the one previous, the Corvettes have been, that's an annual thing that's been going on for a number of years. So this is the initial time that we've ever seen this request of this specific nature from this group.
Go ahead, Councillor Wells.
Could I ask Mr. Baird if we have any money left in the council budget for grants?
Through the mayor, the last report that we brought forward to you indicated approximately $10,000 remained for council's use for the 2018 budget. You have put forward a motion for consideration at the next meeting for the South Walsingham
Interpretive.
group, correct? Which would conceivably come from that same area. That would be the preferred location for them to secure a grant if council is willing to support that request. But yes, there is money there for your use.
Councillor Wells.
Hearing that,
continue.
Mr. Mayor, I will put forth a motion that we grant $500 to this organization from the council and committee budget,
Is that going to be amendment to this?
grant budget.
I'll have to. I know your hand is up, Councillor Oliver, but I want to ask you and Councillor Brunton as mover and seconder whether you wish to have your motion stand, because it is moved and seconded, and I did read it, so it is on the floor. Any thoughts, Mr. Mover?
Mr. Mayor, the reason why I put my signature on that motion was just because I didn't remember this one. It has the potential to be a significant request, and I felt, and that's why I put my hand up just now, to suggest even if we didn't approve it this year, we could certainly direct them to make application through the proper channel for 2019 event and onward. Theirs is every bit as legitimate a need as any of the other groups, but as we've always said, if we've got a process and we need to encourage them to follow the process, and that's why I moved the motion, and I think perhaps we should deal with the motion, and then if it fails, we'll go to my colleague's motion as well.
Councillor Brunton, your comment, you wish to leave your name as seconder?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may speak to the motion, and
Well-
I'll get back to Councillor Wells if he wishes to continue.
In all respect to the Waterford Lions Club, and I know they do a lot of good work in the community, but there's a Lions Club here. I believe there's one in Cortland. I don't know if Delhi has, and they all do a wonderful job for the community. I spoke with the Lions Club just the other night in Simcoe, and I know they pay their rent monthly at the rec center when they use that facility, and they're very good at keeping up to whatever cost we impose on them for the use of our facilities. So I think Councillor Oliver hit it on the head. If they want to apply through a grant process next year, that's fine, but I'm prepared to stand by the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, to receive as information, those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those opposed? That is carried. Just a comment on this. Certainly, there's no one going to debate the importance of community service clubs in their community. We have them all over the county. But I really think, in all fairness, that we need to make sure people apply through our grant system. They have to hand in financial statements. They have to go through the application. It just seems that people do that, and then right afterwards, other people come in and they want, and I have no problem considering them at grant time. And then we had $10,000 that we didn't have anybody really to ask for, so they could have. So I would encourage these clubs to make sure they put their applications in so that they can be treated in the same line as everyone else. So Councillor Oliver, please.
Mr. Mayor, I suspect Andy would have done it anyways, but can we be assured that when they're responded to, they will be informed of the process and the timing and the dates and so on? Thanks.
Thank you very much. We'll move on then, please. Yes, go ahead.
I've missed something. I'm going to blame it on Councillor Brunton because he was asking me for his help on his
That's okay.
iPad. But under pecuniary interest, I should have declared that I have a pecuniary interest on the Walmart issue as a result of me owning property in the downtown, and I tenant as a children's clothing store, so I'll leave and not discuss the
The
matter.
last application, I believe, this afternoon. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry
No
about
problem at
that.
all. No, that's good timing. Thank you. Okay, let's go on to item C. It's been moved by Oliver, seconded by Brunton, at the request of the New Limburg Brewery for a special occasion permit for International Women's Brew Day be approved, subject to receipt of all other required approvals. And that request is on page 25. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Columbus, please.
Just a question to the clerk, perhaps. What constitutes the criteria for municipal significance?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I think it's an assessment made by council of whether an event is municipally significant or not, and it's really up to your determination. A lot of times what we have is people requesting exemptions for events that really aren't municipally significant. So sometimes they misuse the phrase, which could be the case in this, because I believe they're asking for just a longer period of service, which usually isn't that big of a deal.
Any other discussion? The resolution is approved, subject to receipt of all other required approvals. Those in favor? It's carried. On to page 27, Bob Taylor from Who Did It Club. Resolution by Brenton and Oliver that the request of the Who Did It Club for a special occasion permit be approved, subject to receipt of all other required approvals. And of course, this is for their annual two fundraising barbecues. Any discussion on this resolution? Those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Ken Beckett, President of the Royal Canadian Legion. Columbus has moved, Walls has seconded that the request of the Royal Canadian Legion for a temporary extension application for liquor sales be approved, subject to the receipt of all other required approvals. And this is the Legion branch 158 in Port Dover. Yes, I slipped my mind which one it was. Any discussion? Those in favor? It's carried. Reports of committees. The first one is the minutes of our meeting last week, Tuesday, February the 20th. That is council in committee. Your closed session minutes from last week were distributed under separate cover. It's been moved by Councilor Columbus and seconded by Councilor Wells that the open and closed session minutes of the council in committee meeting of February the 20th, 2018 be approved as presented, which starts on page 37. Any discussion? Councilor Brunn? Microphone, please. Thank you.
I apologize, I did want to pull a motion number 4 in the minutes, and I unfortunately didn't make Mr. Grizel's deadline, but I would like to speak to Resolution 4, and I guess I have to get 2/3 majority. Correct on that?
I'll go to the clerk. It's my understanding that you certainly can speak on any of these, but this motion covers all of them unless, is there a way that if Councilor Brunton or any councilor wants this voted on separately because he missed the deadline, he could get it separated? Like, I mean, right now it has to be included according to our procedure. But I'll let the clerk tell you if there's a way you can get that resolution separated?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just trying to find a way to make this work. I think you could propose an amending motion that would require a two-thirds approval to have that item pulled. So we can amend this motion here by two-thirds majority, which would be the avenue. So I'll just write that up now for
Do you wish to propose that amendment, that we get a two-thirds to deal with this one?
I would.
What resolution is that?
I believe it's, well, I call it Resolution 4, where we ask for staff to undertake a report on the, and actually 3 deals with Mr. Adam Berry's deputation, which was received as information, and then 4 is the motion we made. So I believe it's 4 that I want to deal with.
Yes, that would be it. The one from Black
Page
and Wells
38.
last week, that staff be directed to present a report to council respecting the deputation, which was the parking lot that Mr. Berry was here. So if you would just hold on for 1 second, I'm going to get the written, so, Councilor Brunton, just while you're standing, the clerk has written that notwithstanding the procedural bylaw, the motion to approve the February 2018 minutes be amended to pull resolution number 4 for discussion. Is that okay with you?
That's correct.
I'm going to put your name down as the mover. I will need a seconder to put that into play, Councilor Height. So I would entertain any, this is an amendment, right? This is an amendment? So I will entertain any comments or discussion on the amendment. In other words, whether, okay, so it's not a reconsideration, it's an amendment. Okay, Councilor Wells, you can have a seat for a second, Councilor Brunton.
Just so I understand it, we're talking specifically before we vote that on the Black Wells motion, that corporate services, corporate support services staff be directed to present a report to council respecting the deputation? Is that what we're talking about?
That is correct, that be, this motion, if passed, would, this amendment, pardon me, if passed, would allow us to deal with that separately. But we will need a two-thirds majority to reconsider, or for this?
For that.
Okay, it's outside the procedure. Got it. I was going to say, it's not really reconsideration, but it kind of is. Any other discussion? I'll need a two-thirds majority. Those in favor to pull resolution 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 there. Those opposed? That is carried. Do you want me to deal with the balance or with this one first? Okay, so the balance first. Yes. So we'll get back to this, Councilor Brunton, in one moment. So we are now going to go to the resolution that the open and closed session minutes of the council and committee meeting of February the 2020 be approved with the exception. Okay, you correct me if I'm doing something wrong here with the, please, with the exception of resolution 4. In other words, number 4 will be reconsidered. Any discussion on everything but resolution 4? If not, those in favor? Okay, that's carried. Now we'll go to resolution 4.
Thank you, Mayor Luke. I do apologize for my delay in getting this asked for reconsideration, but Andy has some very strict rules, so I apologize.
That's why I like the lad, yes.
Anyways, what I'm
Keep us out of
concerned
trouble.
about, last week, Mr. Berry was here, and for very good reason. But at the time, we didn't have the environmental assessment reports on the gas stations in Port Dover, or the gas station and adjacent property in Port Dover. And at the time, I asked him to, or I had concerns about migration of contaminants off that site. And since that time, Mr. Very sent the Environmental Consulting Occupational Health, that's the name of their company, their report on both properties at 400 and 404 Main Street, Port Dover. My concern, and if you've read both those reports, and I know some of you say you did not get them, but they're fairly detailed, and they go into the identification of the contamination on the sites. And I'll try to make it brief. They basically, what they say is there's $225,000 worth of excavation involved. And I'm sorry, I read them the other day, but on the gas station site alone. And they also want to do further monitoring with wells, and they have no idea what the extent of any migration is off the site. So I look at it and I say, why would we even consider getting involved on the property? And I don't have any disrespect for Mr. Very, he's got a good idea, but my concern is we've just dealt with a property up on Highway 3 where we paved over the parking lot at the county garage, built a building over it, and we thought that problem was solved. But here we are recently spending probably in excess of $2 or $3 million to clean that mess up. Whether it's cleaned up yet or not, I don't know, but all I'm trying to say is I want to avoid this problem ahead of the game and not get involved if we can. So, Your Worship, I would hope Council have read that report, there's two of them, if they would reconsider. And I don't want to give staff, we often hear that we present staff with more work, but this might be a report the staff doesn't have to write. I've asked Lee, I sent her the reports last week. I think I did anyways. If not, I'll try again. Councillor Black's been very good on our new iPads, helping me send these out. So I just don't think we should go any further with it. So I'd like to change that recommendation that we not proceed with any further work on those sites. And I realize Councillor Wells might not be happy with the fact that it may or could have been a parking lot for X number of cars, but I prefer to look elsewhere where it's perhaps a little safer environmentally. So that's my motion, Your Worship. Okay.
This is different.
All right.
His is the same. We need a motion first, or this is tough? Because we're, just a second. I'm just getting a ruling whether we should have some general conversation here, since it's pretty vague what we've pulled, and now we sort of got your intent. But normally we have at a council meeting, we have a motion that's moved and seconded, and then we discuss it. So I just want the clerk to make sure that I'm doing this right.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think part of the challenge I have is I always have a reluctance to motions with negatives in them, because if they have a defeat, it really creates something problematic. So if you're saying that staff are to do no further work on this, and that gets defeated, then staff are to do some further unspecified work on this. Whereas the motion that was considered at committee is fairly clear, it might be easier just to put forward exactly what was in committee and vote to defeat that if you don't desire to proceed.
Yeah, I mean, either way, you're going to get a chance to debate it, whether it's in the positive or negative. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take the clerk's direction here, and on page 38, the motion number 4, that corporate support services staff be directed to present a report to council respecting the deputation. It has been moved by Black and Wells last week, so now we're going to put that on the floor because council has agreed to reconsider this motion, and then you can vote either to accept the recommendation from last week or turn it down, and then we look for something different. So that motion is now on the floor as printed. Is that okay? You're okay with that? Councillor Wells and then Black, please.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, if I understand it correctly, the reason that I am supporting the motion as it is written on our report is it's very clearly that corporate services staff will be directed to present a report to council. And that information that they gather will be coming to us, at which time we would then make a decision whether we wish to go ahead or not. So I'm not sure what's wrong with getting information upon which we can make a decision. what am I missing here? I know that I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and if there's a reason for us not supporting it, I don't have any problem with that. But I want to see the report here in front of us, which is more importantly, even for me, Mr. Mayor, is that the community will see the same report and they will know why we made a decision. If we don't have the report here and the community has no reason why we made this decision, what would I say to them? Well, we just decided not to do it. Let me give some information to the community as to why we are refusing. And when the report comes, and if you still feel that we should not be progressing with this decision, I don't have a problem with that. But let's give the information to the public. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Black.
Well, two very valid arguments. I agree with both. You know, I have read the report, and it's clear to me that there is a problem. But I agree with Doug on that. But on the same time, I think Councillor Wells is suggesting that we go through the process, and the process is that staff does a report and will bring it back to me, bring it back to us for our decision. The public gets it. So I guess I can support Councillor Wells in that regard. But at the moment, it doesn't look very good to me.
Councillor Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too agree with Councillor Wells. I think we owe it to the community to have the information that we received, and I'm going to admit I have not yet read those reports and certainly do need to. So I thank Councillor Brunton for bringing this up to give us a chance for some further discussion. But I see the merit in having this staff report come forward, assuming that corporate support services will receive input from our Public Works Department vis-a-vis the source protection program that we have, because that's really what this will be all about, is groundwater and the movement of groundwater off a site, not unlike what happened. So I'm going to support the recommendation that was in the minutes and wait until we get some kind of feedback from staff.
Second time, Councillor Black to the motion.
I should have asked it before, but just wondering through you to Mr. Baird, in this report, will there be anything about this property receiving any grants from the county?
I think through the mayor, this is going to be maybe a collective effort. It's going to involve, our property management people to look at land and value and assessment, what we can do, how we can do it. I look at my colleague Lee Robinson, how many spaces could possibly be generated on that site, all of these things that would come back as information. We don't specifically have a grant program for parking lots. Parking lots are exempted from development charges. So, I mean, although this would be a county interest, if a private sector group was to buy the land and apply, there would be some environmental remediation. Phase 2, there would be some funding there. Maybe some landscaping or some design.
I'm actually
work.
referring to the current owner. I don't know if that's confidential information or not. I'm just wondering if your report will indicate, has that property already received a grant?
To my recollection, no, I don't believe they have.
Oh, okay. I just wondered if that would be included if there was, that's all. Okay.
We would certainly include that if that was the case.
Thank you, Councillor Black. Councillor Columbus.
Mr. Mayor, being that this involves potential acquisition of property, when does an item like this become an in-camera closed session item?
Mr. CAO.
It is overwhelmingly my stylistic preference to give you reports. We've already done it many times the last 10 months. When you have complicated issues that are multifaceted, we give you as much information as we humanly can in open session, and then the portions that need to be enclosed are delivered. So I prefer to write companion reports. We will, as a team, end up discussing whether this passes or not tomorrow. We'll end up discussing it as a leadership team tomorrow. But assuming that there's actual instruction from council, we'll devise them so that the reports have to be read conjunctively for all information, but we'll what we do is we put as much as we humanly can in the public domain, and then some parts enclosed. So it'd probably be a combination of the two.
Okay, Councillor Brunton?
Just a kind of question, I guess, is Mr. Adam Berry provided these environmental assessment reports, and he represented the Board of Trade in Dover, am I correct? So I assume, I don't know who paid for them, but I assume the Board of Trade or the owner of the property paid for them, and the Board of Trade must know all about it. He presented them to us, so I guess, I don't know, I think we're dragging it out. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this resolution? Black and Wells have moved and seconded that the corporate services staff shall be directed to present a report to council respecting the deputation. Further discussion? Those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Go to page 47, please. Moved by Councillor Geisen, seconded by Councillor Columbus, that the minutes of the Norfolk Environmental Advisory Committee meeting of January the 8th, 2018 be received as information. Anything you'd like to raise on those minutes? Those in favor? It's carried. We'll do one other item, then we'll have our break until 5 o'clock. Let's go, please, to number 11, and that is the addition sheet that's on your desk, that 11A concerning the deputation of Robert Irvine, the photography or the photograph session, and the 1-hour closing of Harbor Street on March the 18th. We did not give any direction to his request. I must have been sleeping after that because it was received as information and we didn't go any further. So we have a memo attached from Clark Hoskin. I have read it. If you go down to the 4th paragraph, staff are therefore requesting that we discuss resolution, which we are about to do, and provide clear direction to his request to close Harbor Street for 1 hour on March 8th, right at dusk for his photo shoot, and the rain date is set 1 week later. I do have a motion here. I'm going to read it and we'll discuss it, okay? Councillor Wells has moved. Councillor Geisens has seconded. That the agenda be amended, okay, sorry, we've already done that one. That one was carried. Now I'm on track. Councillor Wells has moved. Columbus has seconded that the requested closure of Harbor Street on March 18th, 2018 be approved as outlined in the staff memo. Discussion? Councillor Wells. Mr. Clerk, do we mention that in our motion that March 25th be a rain date? So it's, because if it is a rain date, we'll have to close on the 25th. We'll just mention that? Okay, I'll let you add that. Okay, March 18th be approved, and that the rain date of March 25th also be approved for the 1 hour closure. Any other discussion? If not, those in favor? That's carried, thank you. So that looks after item 11. I'll give you that if you want to just add the rain date. About a 21-minute break till 5 o'clock. Thank you.
On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of